Good morning. It is Friday here in Tokyo, or Nagareyama, the city in which I live, and I'm going to give you part three before I get into talking about the specifics of what's going on in the world. President Trump, Russia, China, Israel, all of those type of things, because I think these three parts are just the basis for you to create something that is action oriented that can make a difference. Okay, and let me just qualify that by saying by going out and reaching people and talking to people, right? And being someone who's engaging, you're already changing the world. So I'm not saying that if you don't have a group or you're not marching, you're not making a change. Okay? We all, I think, by looking at the world as a place where we have to be involved, be engaged, and make connections with other people, you're going to make a difference. So let me just talk about what part three of this section is, then I'll get into some concrete examples of how you should see some of the problems going on in the world. Okay, so we first talked about action. Doing something organized is the key to change, whether you're conservative or Republican, conservative or a liberal, Democrat or Republican, left or right. These societies that you have rooted for historically have been a product of action, people organizing to evoke change. Second, when things look bad and you get discouraged, you have to create a group. You have to find like-minded people because there's power, there's knowledge, there's innovation when you work in groups, and it's one of the hardest things to do. Probably, I think I said the hardest thing to do, and that was slightly untrue. What the hardest thing to do is in part three, especially if you're a leader, especially if you're an organized mind and you have a vision and a drive, and that is to make your group reflect the members in it. I'll give an example from my organization, Black Professionals Tokyo, where I realized, oh, this kind of thing works. But let me just explain how it works. A group of people is as powerful as that group of people, meaning each person in there takes ownership and takes action, takes responsibility, and gives their best. If a group or an organization, if you feel doesn't reflect you, you're not going to care. People who are apathetic about work, for instance, think, well, this company doesn't care about me. People are apathetic about the country they live in, feel, sometimes rightfully so, this country isn't about me, I don't care. When people feel like it doesn't reflect them or they don't have a chance, they give up. But as a leader, sometimes you have a strong vision. This is how this should work. Whether it's a new business, whether it's an enterprise, whether you're running for office, you believe in your vision and you don't want to compromise that vision. You feel you shouldn't. And I'm not saying you should. However, your group needs to reflect everyone in it. So as you create your group of people, this is what you do. You listen to what they're talking about. You get a sense of who they are, what they want to get out of this organization. And you try to mold the organization to reflect their drive. When you do that, you will start to see that these people will start acting for you on your behalf and in the end protecting you. I'd give a shout out to someone, but I don't know whether they want to be associated with my videos. But I learned this about 7 years ago after an event I held for Black professionals. It was in Roppongi, and one of our members didn't like the location. She felt that it was disrespectful. That the location it was in was Roppongi, and that location is sort of not very savory. Now, I can't say I agreed with her. I disagreed. However, I understand. Everyone has their opinion, and that's okay. That's part of organizing a group. People will think differently. Um, the reality of it, though, is I realized after the person posted their disagreement or dislike for the location, people from the group started to defend me. They started to speak on my behalf. I realized in hindsight I needed to say nothing. The people who were members of the organization started coming to my defense, giving me the benefit of the doubt and defending the organization. Um, Looking back, the events that I held and the things that I tried to do with Black professionals was create an organization where people felt like they had a place they could belong. There's been a lot of, well, I don't know, those of you who aren't Black American might not get this, but a lot of times, because Blacks come from so many different backgrounds, there's a competition about what's Black and what's not. Um, that has to end. Not because it's a Black issue, but it's a silly issue for human beings. We all, regardless of race, are who we are. And a lot of places in the world, the color of your skin makes people treat you differently. Not just badly, sometimes in a good ways, but different. And so, your experience makes you who you are. And your color isn't defined by what you do, but sometimes how people treat you. So that didn't matter to me. So I wanted to create a group where everyone, regardless of your experience, regardless of where you are, if you wanted to engage a black community, you had a place where you belonged, regardless of your race. So I wanted to create a place where everyone felt like they could contribute, and the result was our events would be places other people wanted to hold them. I would patronize places that were new, different, from recommendation from the membership. So the organization and the events reflected those people. And the result is they came to my defense, and they still do to this day, which is a wonderful thing. I don't ask for it, but I'm so thankful for that. Now, that's a hard thing to do because I have a vision of what the world should be, very strong vision of what the world should be and how events should be and how things should work and how people should treat each other. But an organization is as strong as the people who are willing to put some skin into the game, as a friend of mine, Houston, says, skin into the game. And you have to make the organization reflect them. You have to make the group reflect their drive, or else it's not going to work. You can vet people in your group. You can create, choose who you associate with so you don't have to compromise too much. But in the end of the day, make the organization reflect the drives and motivations of the people in it, the people you care for, and they'll come to your defense, they'll come to your aid, and they'll come to support what you intend to do. So, point 1, action. Organized, thoughtful action makes a difference. 2, do not despair. Reach out to others. It's the only way. We're social creatures, and the world doesn't change from one woman or one man saying something, but one man or one woman working with other men and women and everything in between to move the needle to another place. And 3rd, as a leader or as an organizer, as someone in a group, the group has to reflect those in it to get the most out of those people. Not that it's guaranteed to fail if you don't compromise, but you can get a lot more done when the group is a group, not just a reflection of a leader's ego. So next week, we'll get into talking about President Trump. We'll talk a little bit, of those of you in Japan, about the Abe, and we'll also talk about a lot of other things going on in the world and what you can do using these 3 steps to make the world a better place. So that's me. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing those of you who are coming out to Black Professionals tonight, seeing you there, and have a great, great February. Bye.